What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another podcast. Today we got Dustin and West, a.k.a. Q-Tip, minus Hunter this time, unfortunately. Yep. But Dustin, this is your second time in. First time on this podcast, I believe it is.
Yep.
How you been, man?
Good,
I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been, what, since last summer? Since I went to the shindig at the house.
Yep. And then we did that one podcast about this time, wasn't it?
Last year, yeah.
Roughly.
Before, like, we actually started up, like, our
right
own
after
stuff.
Me and Hunter got back from Texas.
Yeah, because we talked about the redheads and stuff.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But we got Alyx on here, too. Alyx, how are you doing?
Good, man. How are you guys?
Not too bad. I've been, me and Alyx been talking about this podcast. Been excited about it because Alyx just got. Well, how old's your pup, Alyx? 2?
Dixie is 2 years old.
So he had some questions about Dixie, and obviously there's a lot of people out there that have questions about all these dogs and whatever it may be.
Right. Yep.
My first question for you: how hard is it without Hunter in town anymore?
It's not bad. I mean,
no. I was shocked when he moved.
Yeah, it sucks he's down there, but I'm happy for him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's good for him.
That's
you know
good.
What I mean, he's got some big things coming down there, and
he sent me a Snapchat yesterday of a tall boy and a pack of Indian smokes, and said everybody's broke and everything down here, and he fits right in. I said, well, I might as well join you down there too, man.
Yeah, I mean, he's in the duck mecca, right?
Right, 100%, 100%.
Yeah, it's gonna go good for him. It's gonna be good.
That's good.
Yeah, it sucks. We miss him, but we'll still go see him. It gives us an excuse to go down there in duck season.
Big time.
It ain't that far.
Big time.
You want to fill me in a little bit?
Yeah, I was just
on Hunter.
So yeah, go ahead. So I don't know if you guys still have it or what's going on, but like the background on the tri-state or who both you guys even are.
Yeah. So I'm Dustin Baker. Me and Hunter started up Tri-State a few years ago. He's actually going to continue that down in Arkansas.
Okay.
Down there. I'm going to do a little bit here and there back home for some select people. But yeah, that's he's going to keep rolling with that down there. He's got kennels getting built. I'm actually putting runs up tomorrow to take a few dogs in.
That's sweet.
But like I said, I'm gonna get pretty picky with it just because I'm trying to steer away from some backyard bred dogs. I want dogs that are gonna be machines.
Now, Northwest Ohio for both of you guys?
He's in Fort Wayne.
I'm from Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Okay, I gotcha.
But I work in Ohio, so that's
I hear you now.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how him and I met.
Okay.
So yeah.
Now
that's kind of how I got
grew up
into
hunting waterfowl over there.
Zero.
Really?
Zero. Yeah. So I live in the big city. I live in the middle of town, and I got a job in a smaller town outside of Fort Wayne in Ohio, and him and I started working together. Started out coyote hunting, not even waterfowl, and we just started coyote hunting. I don't even think we ever even killed a dog. We just went out a bunch.
Just an excuse to get out of the house.
Yeah.
Hunted a lot.
Yep. And then I went on my first goose hunt with him, and it's just been kind of
ever since.
Oh, yeah.
Ever since then.
Been crazy.
So
yeah, it's definitely an addiction.
I swear.
I told him one thing right when we got into it.
Yeah.
What's that?
You might end up divorced by then. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
What are you going through right now?
I'm going through a divorce, so it's kind of a wild ride right now.
I warned you.
10 years I was married.
It's one of those things I told you so.
Yeah.
I hate to hear it. But.
Yeah, it's hard. It's and we don't even have kids.
Oof. That's good then.
Yeah.
That's good.
But we have a house and we've both got, great jobs and everything, but it's tough to maintain a relationship during season, especially if you're with somebody that's not into hunting.
Oh yeah, I went through the same exact thing, my man.
Yeah.
10 years, and she just couldn't stand me being gone for 3-4 months a year. And
Yep.
I went and found the right one.
Yeah.
Me and Alex always talk about that, and I literally just got done talking to somebody out here. I don't know if you guys can hear the background sound or anything, but there's a fish fry going on at the podcast studio tonight, and I'm surprised even Sid's staying with me this long. Like I'm Alex knows, like I'm getting home from work and out the door scouting every day of the week during season, and I don't know how she's okay with it, but thank God for it.
Yep.
But so a little bit of a background, I guess. So you came on, like I said, before we started the Great Lakes Outdoors podcast. You came on to the podcast prior to that. You guys were running Tri-State Retrievers. That's no longer going, or is it kind of going still? Like you guys were...
Yeah, so it's going for hunter.
Okay,
I'm
not
gonna
so much.
Yeah, so back at my house in Ohio there, I'm not gonna be taking in like we did the past 2 years, 2 seasons.
Now, how many dogs were you guys taking in?
We had eight at a time.
Okay.
On top of our dogs, which would have been about like 14, 13.
Okay. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
it's a good amount of dogs.
Yeah, for one person to do that though, it's a
Yeah.
lot. You know what I mean? But there was 2 of us, so it wasn't too bad.
Right.
But with him moving down there, and I'm gonna kind of take I've been taking up taxidermy, waterfowl taxidermy. I went down to Texas. I'm gonna start that and just do some dogs here and there, like I was saying, and helping people. What I kind of want to get into more is like classes. I mean, everybody hates sending their dog off for months and months at a time. If I can, we started doing it last year, me and Hunter, with some people, just doing weekend classes, or, you know, for every week you come out as many times as you want for a set amount, you know what I mean? Or even if it's not even for much, it's just
to get everybody together kind of thing.
It's a lot, man, having that many dogs at your house. And I got 6 kids too.
Yeah.
So, on top of me trying to hunt and do my thing in the area we are in, we have half-ass hunters and they want badass dogs.
But the problem is with that, not to cut you off, you know, a lot of these people think buying labs or any hunting sort of dog per se, not even waterfowl related or anything, just anything in general. They're going to buy this dog. They've seen a YouTube video and they say, how hard is it going to be? They don't put any work into it. And me and Alex know that from multiple mutual friends, where they just think since they got a lab, they're going to throw it out in the water and it's going to do exactly what you want it to do.
Yeah.
No, it's going to do what it wants to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's not the case. Yeah. There's a lot of time and work that goes into a dog. Like we're training. I mean, I'm training at home.
It's a job
with my dogs.
It's a tool.
Yep.
Is the best way to put it.
I'm helping 2 other guys right now that are my buddies get their dogs going. It's busy. I mean,
so I mean that's like your passion though, is training.
Oh, I love
dogs.
it. It is nothing to do with me not loving it or anything like that. I love training dogs. It's just the area I'm in. If I go 2 hours to the east of me, over by Lake Erie in that area, there's some badass trainers over there. Right. So why is a guy going to look at me and take their $2,000 pup that's bred to gills and bring them to me that have, you know, that has no background in hunt tests and stuff like that? Not knocking my training at all, because I can train a damn good dog.
I've seen the videos and
I don't blame them.
Right.
We're getting the knockoffs. You know what I mean? And I'm just not content with that. I don't like training something that I'm not happy with. That they're happy with is the bad part.
That's the hard part. I mean, two things on that. In my opinion, it's almost like what we got going on here, right? Where, you know, we're not the biggest and the best podcast out there, right? We're not the biggest and best page out there, or whatever it may be, biggest, best hunters out there, or whatever it may be. We're doing it because we love to do it, right? There's so many people that get to. And I was just talking to some of the guys here for the fish fry. It's like there's like almost like a ridge that you almost just got to get over top of that, and then you're there. And before a lot of these guys get over top of that ridge, they just stop it.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you kept on going with it all, even though your area is not the best, or, you know, obviously it's a huge thing to move for something like that, but kept up with it all, I mean, you're going to hit down times and bad times for it all.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not stopping. There ain't no stopping. I'm just taking and I'm regrouping, and we're gonna do some different things this summer. I'm gonna be working with another trainer that's local that runs these tests, and I'm gonna get a couple of my males going on them tests, and just a little bit though. I don't really. I'm not a fan of those hunt tests. They're too political for me. And go show me any guy that's taken and doing what me and Hunter have done with these dogs, taking these dogs on boats, taking these dogs to just
there's nobody
out there.
There's nobody that I know,
and I love it.
Yeah.
I want to train hunting dogs. You know, not saying that these hunt test dogs are bad machines. They're machines, man.
They are.
But man, just being able to take them and do what you're actually supposed to be doing instead of sending a dog on a freaking straight line all the time.
Right.
It's just like, man, you know what I mean?
Same thing over and over again.
I don't know. And that's not knocking the hunt test guys. Just they train. It's hard. You know, they got good dogs.
Right.
You know?
But it goes back to the owner, though, too.
Yep.
I mean, and Alex, I'm sure you can even touch on that, too. I mean, you know, it's what you want out of your dog.
Yep.
And you can do, and my biggest thing with even like sending a dog out is obviously for you, you're not that far away from us. What are you guys, an hour and a half maybe?
Probably about an hour and 45.
So almost 2 hours then.
Not crazy.
You know, that's one thing to travel that far to go see the dog and visit and stuff like that. But if you're not on top of your game when that dog gets back, that dog is going to lose. If you pamper that dog and stuff, I mean, you're going to lose all of that stuff. And people don't understand that.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing. We trained the owners.
That's
more
huge.
than we've trained the dog.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, if you have a natural dog, it's pretty much you follow, you know, what you're going to be training, and they're going to pick up on it. You know, it's the the owners that are going to be running that dog, training them and getting them to understand, like, okay, it's August 1st. I should probably throw a few bumpers for my dog and get him ready. I'm training right now for September 1st. It's just the way it is. You want a badass dog, you got to put the work in.
Right. And I will say, too, you know, I've met a lot of people through the industry, per se, and even just a lot of local guys. The drive and stuff that Alex even has with his pup, probably the most that I've seen. In like just in the area, like but you said, there's a lot of, you know, I hate to say it, half-ass hunters. I mean, Alex, for you personally, what are you looking for out of your dog?
So I've come down to my three things that I think are the biggest thing when it comes to dogs. I think it's repetition, trust between you two, and pedigree. And we're out. I mean, this shit for me doesn't stop. My dog has become a badass dog because I train her 5 days a week. And maybe it's not for more than 30 minutes, but we're making sure we're keeping that obedience down. We're making sure we're keeping everything in check. So when September 1st comes along, like Dustin said, I ain't throwing a few fucking bumpers out before the fucking hunt. And why? Oh, all of a sudden, why isn't she doing what she's supposed to be doing? It never ends for me because I just love it that much, you know. And I love watching my dog progress and elevate to the next level.
I almost feel like it's like getting that click though. Like once you see that dog like understand like what you're trying to teach it.
Yep.
And you know, you might not say a half hour's enough, but I almost think it's like
half
too
hour's
much.
Plenty.
Yeah,
sometimes it's too much.
Right.
I mean, like right now.
Not saying it's doing a bad thing, Alex. I'm just saying like there's some dogs that takes 10 minutes. Not to cut you off either.
Right.
But.
No. Yeah. Like right now. I mean, I'm training Goose right now. He's fully capable of doing whatever I can, but he has bad habits he has picked up over season that you allow them dogs to do that you have to work on, because if you do not, come September 1st, you're going to have a dog that's going to do whatever it wants.
Right.
You're in an A-frame or you're in a layout blind. You just rain out a volley of birds. You're trying to send him on a cripple. You try to send him on a straight line. He goes to the left. You're not correcting that when you're out hunting.
No.
You don't care. You want that dog to pick up, but I'm correcting that day after season because I want my dog to run a straight line.
Right.
And that just develops over the season. Usually right around February, you start seeing them start slipping away. Mid-January, they're like, okay, it's time. We need to get that act right. But now I don't run a shocker on my dog ever.
And that's, I feel like, one of the worst tools. And Alex, you can probably agree with this too, which I run a shock collar on both of mine. Do I shock them? No.
Mm-hmm.
Do I beep them? Yeah, I'll beep them.
Right.
Or LE's to the point where I can at least whistle to get her attention. But with her being my first dog, and I think I talked to you about this before, I hate to say it, but it's almost like a test trial for your first dog. Kind of see where you're at and whatever it may be. But the personalities of dogs are obviously huge because you have to understand what dog you're training. Like Rip. Well, Alex, you've seen it too, where Rip is just balls to the wall, go. Ellie's kind of a nonchalant, I'll grab it, but I ain't racing back or nothing.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, but like the personalities and everything, and I don't know. It's just the shot collar for me. There's those guys that start training their dogs in August and then just hammer their dogs on the shot collar and just ruins them.
And I'll use a shot collar. I ain't nothing against shot collars. I just don't use them.
Me too.
I'm going to start using my collar because he needs that act right button. Because I've let him get away with some things that is okay during hunting season, but when it's time to start training and do, because me and Hunter have always trained to like the hunt test standards. Running long blinds and keeping your dog straight. Yeah. Because you need that during hunting season, regardless. But at the end of the season, you start picking up habits. I mean, there's several, say
even we
did it, a couple weeks ago, and then he did it a couple more weeks.
Right.
They know they're not stupid.
No,
they know they can get away with it, and
it's like I said, even we pick up bad habits and start getting lazy on stuff or whatever it may be.
It might not take longer on that collar. Might only have to run on them a couple times.
You get hit one time, I tell you what, you're gonna know it.
Might have to do it a couple times this month, but I might not have to pull that shocker out until June, July.
So Alex, go ahead, Alex.
What's up, buddy?
Oh, I thought you had something.
No.
So he kind of ran into a crazy scenario with his pup, and he said it on a previous podcast, and I'll have him tell it to you guys while I go use the restroom because I forgot my pens.
What? How I obtained her?
Not that one, but on the water. Which one was that? With the goose? When she went, when she went downhill real fast, and I was just curious. This is the first time I heard about any of this stuff with. You started talking about like the boats and stuff like that. Just curious to see if you guys ran into anything like this or even heard about anything like this. So, Alex, I'll let you kind of tell these guys.
There's one of two stories. Is it one that Flyway Waterfall messaged you about?
Yes.
Okay. We'll talk about that one.
We'll edit that name out.
Yeah. Flag it. So anyway, I was hunting with a group here in Wisconsin. Met them at the boat launch. I have a newer duck boat. I have an Excel with a gator tail, and it caught their eye. And they're like, "Hey, man, looks like you take it pretty serious. We saw you set up over there, blah, blah, blah." They saw my Michigan plate, so they're like, "Would you want to start hunting with us? Do you have anybody you hunt?" No, whatever. So end up hunting with these guys, and we go out one afternoon, and my dog, they're unpredictable when they're at that 1.5 stage sometimes. Do you think you have them down training and they just downright do the dumbest thing you've ever seen? Well, we're flying out to the marsh, and we're at about 30 miles an hour, and she usually, what she's trained to do is sit right next to me as I sit down and I hold that tiller handle. Well, for some reason, these group of 30 coot on the side that picked up got her attention. She went to the bow of the boat, And when she went to the bow of the boat, I looked at the coots as well. And for that split second, the minute I looked over, we hit a rock. And she went fucking flying. And when she went flying, she actually hit that bow so hard from the rock, she flipped up and went behind the boat. And there was 2 other boats with mud motors behind me flying. Thank God they saw her fly off the boat, and they both, one went right, one went left, and let her, float to the middle, or else she would have been chopped up, So yeah, that's the first time that's ever happened with me too. And me and her have been hunting for only a couple of years now, but we mainly water hunt with my boat. So,
well, touch on the fish incident too. I'm sorry, I didn't clarify that enough.
That one. This one was a scary one too. This year, actually, we had, we went out, set up on a beach-like area, to hunt, and there was a dead sheep's head on the beach, and it was pretty rotted out. Probably been there for about a month, and we're setting up these panel blinds, getting them against these cattails, and I'm not paying attention, and I look over, and she's not at the fish. She's just sitting next to the fish, but there's paw prints, and the fish itself was scattered. Like, you could tell it got chewed up, and it wasn't like that when we first pulled up. So I'm like, God damn it, she got into it, or sniffed it out, or took some pieces. Well, when she was sitting next to that fish, I'm telling you, it wasn't more than probably 15, 20 minutes. She started shaking, and she started shaking really bad and drooling. So I'm like, all right, something's not right with this dog. Did she get a bone, or what the hell's going on? So we hunt her for about an hour, and I'm like to my buddy Gavin, we got to pack up and go. Something ain't right with the dog. So we pack up and go. We get home that night, and she's about 7, 8 o'clock at this point, and we're cooking, and she's starting to fall over and drool, and she can't keep herself up. Well, I take her to the ER the next morning, and lo and behold, she had her body was going into shock, because some of that fish she ingested there was so much salmonella and E. coli in her GI tract that her body was shutting down, and she was going into shock. And she's up to date with all of her shots before every season. I always forget the name of the shots we get, but the one with the L for the water, for the beaver dams and shit, we get every shot. I make sure she's very well taken care of. And he said if I would have let her go for another 8 hours, she probably would have been dead. So it happened that fast, all within a day and a half.
Wow. I mean, did you guys ever running? I mean, that was the first time I've ever heard about that stuff.
Never.
Too.
Yeah. And I'm like, so I work in fucking sales and business. So I'm like, everything I do is organized. So her flea and tick is every month on the same day, shots, same month before we hunt,
It's called ADHD.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
But no, like I said, when Alex told me that about the dog and stuff,
yeah, that's crazy.
It was the first time I ever heard about that.
I've never heard anything like that.
How fast is what blew my mind.
Yeah, that too. I mean, you would never think that. Like, we go to the beach all the time around here, and it's like, whatever.
Yeah. Huh. That's something to look out for, though.
So, even going back to his boat situation, how do you guys train? Because Ellie she wants her ears flapping in the wind. She wants to be up at the front of the boat. I personally let her, just because I have trust in her that she's not jumping over. Like, if you watch her, she leans with the weight, like she knows what's coming, kind of thing. Like, obviously, if it's too rough, I get her in the back and stuff. Like, I'm not dumb about the whole situation. How do you guys train dogs? Or how are you training dogs with boating situations?
So usually we use a lead for a while, keep them right beside you, and operate that way until they are,
So you basically just have them sitting right next to you?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, as long as they're close to me and not up on the bow, because, like, if I hit something.
Right. Well, because you guys are running, like, some shallows,
we're running
too.
some different stuff, though, so I guess it depends on where you're running. I mean, if you're running in deep stuff and
that's for us, we don't hunt water, obviously.
And I mean, obviously, she's not young,
she's,
is she?
She's 5.
Yeah, I mean,
turning 6 this summer.
She knows. I mean, it's not like you're taking a 7-month-old out there.
No.
And like, okay, I trust. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, usually that's what we do is, like, Hunter or I will operate the boat, and then the other one will sit beside you, and you'll sit them right beside you, and just will run around and make them sit beside you and essentially heel. you know, and that's how we train for that.
And it's such a crazy thing too to even think about, like with dog training in itself. And it kind of goes back to the personality trait for the dog. I feel like so many people lack on understanding what kind of dog they have. Maybe they had one dog when they were growing up or whatever, and they just think that dog's going to be the same exact way.
Right.
Every dog's different.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you got to talk to it. You got to treat it. I mean, just everything in general. You're going to have those bonehead dogs that you might have to use a shot collar all year round.
Yep.
But there's those other dogs like you were talking about. You don't have to use it at all.
Yeah.
You know, and people just shoot the gun and all these YouTube videos and stuff. And that's where I think even the get-togethers that you're having with the dogs coming by, or even just the small tips and tricks. I guarantee you there's a lot of local guys around you that aren't taking that seriously, like with the knowledge that you have of dog training and taking advantage of that.
Oh, absolutely. Just like I go to parks a lot and train. You don't see
Just
anybody
easy
around
stuff.
me doing that.
No.
That's socializing. You got to socialize these dogs. You cannot just train in your backyard.
No.
Or go to the same spot every single
Same
time.
smells, everything.
You
yeah.
can't. You got to change it up. And we were having some issues with that with my one buddy's pup. She's young still, but she's just needing socialized, you know, and she's starting to come out of it quicker. And
now, for a dog like that, for you personally, how do you, like for me personally, every day I have that dog, I'm introducing him to people, you know, obviously grabbing the food, doing this, you know, puppy stuff, but taking them out in public areas and whatever, because I don't care even if they don't allow dogs. There's nobody that's going to turn you down with a lab puppy because they're the absolute cutest things on this earth.
absolutely.
But how do you socialize an older dog?
Same thing.
So really,
If you gotta put a choker on it or a lead or, you know, slip lead or, you know what I mean, do it till they get used to it. You're gonna fight it, but you got to do it. Just take them anywhere and everywhere you can go. Expose them to anything. Yeah, you're gonna have struggle.
100%.
You're gonna get frustrated. You're gonna get annoyed, but you can't blame that dog. You know what I mean? You get what you put in.
Besides
For
the
me,
last,
like that all comes back like to repetition, you know, just over and over and over and over and over again until that's just their normal habit.
Yeah, and the biggest thing with repetition though is you just got to make sure it's not the same thing. You know what I mean? If you can do it just everywhere, you know what I mean? Change it up if you can. You know what I mean? Because them dogs get used to it. I mean, we don't always hunt in the same spots.
well, and that's the whole thing with like different smells and scenery, and that's like both of the dogs now. When they were growing up, I would take them to our local, Point Moulet. One, because it's a marsh setting, and there's always a bunch of different smells, and the birds are flying. You're going to hear the birds flying around. Every day is not going to be the same.
No.
Even if you are walking the same path every day. I mean, yeah, the path might be different, but like everything's going to be different. Like it's just a day-to-day thing. And I felt like that was such a big thing for me to do that with the dogs I have, just to kind of get them out there and whatever it may be. But same thing besides the last statement you put with you're going to get what you put in, because obviously I know you put a lot in. It's like the same thing with Tri-State. Like, I feel like if you just keep on going, man, I really feel like
it's not over. That's
right
not
there.
what I was getting. Hunter is going to continue. I think he might take a few dogs in this year because I think he's got it set up pretty nice right now.
obviously he's in a prime spot.
And he's in a damn good spot.
Right.
What I want to focus on is I'm getting another nice male, and next month a pup. I already have a nice male. The one trainer that's local, he's old. He's getting, he don't train no more, you know, for people.
We've talked about him.
We talked about it last podcast, but he's really pushing me to get into these tests and
just getting a name out.
I'm gonna take him up on it, and I'm gonna focus. I want to regroup and focus on that and get better. You know what I mean?
That'd be awesome.
And do some of these tests. I'm not saying that's what I'm going to always do because I do not physically have enough time to run these tests every single weekend. I'm a duck hunter. That's what I think about nonstop. I'm training for duck hunting.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot just sit there and be training for hunt tests.
Which I feel like it's two different, totally different things.
Like I can take, and dump my boat and take both my dogs or all three of my dogs and go scout. Right there's a training session.
So speaking of that, do you think like the field trial dogs are as good as hunting dogs in the field? That's a very tough question, I feel like, because obviously they have the skill to do it.
They have,
but
the skill,
obviously
but
it's a total different thing with the gunfire, texture of the bird.
I personally would put up my male
against anybody. Well, Goose is a different breed though. Like he's a different dog.
He's bred out of Toledo, and that's where my next pup. He's coming from the same dad.
I mean, you know what I'm saying though.
I know.
Goose is a different dog.
But I feel if you can buy a good pup with solid lines, you should, and you train it like you're supposed to, you should have no problem running with any of these hunt test guys in hunting scenarios. Now, I'm not saying you're gonna go and
get the same results
at a hunt test,
right?
You know what I mean? But I will put him up in a hunt test, and I bet he'd run pretty damn good in it. You know what I mean? And I'm not knocking those guys. Those guys train machines.
Well, yeah. No,
and
that question, I didn't mean that at all.
No, I know you didn't, but I just want to make sure everything's clear. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I did not mean to down talk that at all.
No, but man, I don't know.
Because
I don't know. I feel like they're just robots, in my opinion. You know what I mean? I don't know.
My biggest thing in Alyx, and even Wes here, like I said, even just the texture of a bird itself. There's some dogs that don't even like that.
Yeah,
they're just so trained on the bumper itself.
Well, these hunt tests are using dead birds.
Oh, they are using dead birds? For some reason,
a lot of them do.
For some reason, I thought it was just bumpers.
From my understanding.
Okay.
Yeah, I've always known bumpers in field tests.
And it could be different tests. There's different hunt tests too. There's your field trials, and then you got your other. There's a few other ones.
Right.
I'm not too familiar with all of that.
Which I feel like that would probably get you over like that kind of plateau for yourself.
Yeah. And that's where I want to get.
Yeah.
I don't want to completely focus on it, but I want to get there to where like, okay, he's trained a few dogs that can come to this hunt test and whoop ass and do what they're supposed to do. Because also is a badass hunting.
It's
dog.
almost like a resume, right?
Yep.
And Goose, your dog now is obviously a perfect dog for that.
Yep.
And get it while you can now for it all.
Yeah. That's what I'm doing this year. I'm regrouping, and I got another male coming, and he'll be ready by season. Goose turns 3 this year, so
he's getting into his prime then.
Kobe, he's 5. He'll be 6 this year, but when I got in a wreck with him, his hip's been ever since then he's slowed down a lot. He's more of a walk out
lazy,
type of deal, and he's a tropical dog. Ever since I took him to Texas, he's an inside dog though. Goose is outside. Goose is a different animal.
Now, Alyx, what's your pup? Inside, I'm guessing?
No, this is my first dog. No, she's an inside dog. She started out as an outside dog, but I move around way too much for work where it's not feasible in the backyard. I can't do it. So
because I do feel like that is a huge thing, which I've met, like Nix, for example.
Mm-hmm.
She's a well-oiled machine when it's the prime of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, every dog's got their own nicks and quirks or whatever and kinks to work out. I feel like those outside dogs are just built different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kobe's British, too. I don't know. That was my first British lab I've had, so I don't know if that's just...
That's what Rip is. And you met Rip last time.
Yeah, and it's his personalities, too. He's a softer dog. He's a chill dog. I can trust him with anything.
Now, what's Goose, American?
Yep.
Now, what's yours, Alyx? American as well?
Yep, she's pure American.
See, and that's what I always like the block he has with the English. Ellie's English lab. Rip is American, English and British. So he's got the blocky head, but he's got like that like that skinny built kind of style. And like I said, he's a damn good dog. This is his first year actually hunting with little to no training at all, which I did a piss poor job on. Which this summer, me and Alex talked when he finally moves his ass back home to start training constantly about it, but because it's almost like a gym. Like if you're by yourself all the time, it's hard to get that motivation to just keep on going. If you got a buddy or something or another dog that you're training with, it's a little bit easier,
Yeah, I guess it depends on how bad you want it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
Definitely goes back towards the owner's hands on it all.
Yep.
I was kind of curious too, Alex. What was your hardest part of like training for your dog?
Mine was, I definitely say like that, and we're still working on it now. And like you say, Kyle, I've done pretty much everything myself with this dog coming from no dog training experience. Is casting, getting her to cast instead of back, sending her way back, and making sure that she's just stopping and looking at me at that 100 yards out to give her a direction. That's where I'm caught right now, and we can't move on until we get all this squared away.
So
you're trying to stretch her out further. Is that what you're saying on casting?
Oh yeah, stretching her out further and just getting her to check in with me so that I can give her a direction.
So what would be some tips on that?
So getting her attention, like, are you saying is in like whistle stopping her, making her look at you, or I guess?
Yep, exactly.
Well, your whistle stopping, you can start close and get her attention that way, and you might have to use your shocker to get her attention. You know what I mean? Like if you're get her attention, then you can. By pushing her further, they do bucket drills. That's what I've done with my dogs. Is I'll put a bucket out, a white bucket, and push them, 200, 250, 300, 400 yards until they build that confidence up to go that far. They don't know what they're running, what they're doing. You know what I mean? But if you put a bucket out there, if she's comfortable going at 100. Put it out on 150, put a bird out there or bumper, and work on that for a couple of days, and then keep moving that bucket out. And then once she's comfortable going to that bucket, remove the bucket, and then you start, what I usually do is I'll run a pile. Right now I probably wouldn't be able to do goose maybe 100 just because of hunting season, but by the time, midsummer, I'm running him 300, 400 yards. But you got to start short, you know what I mean, with that bucket. Get him, get him confident, boost that confidence up, put a couple, bumpers out there, whether it's 3 or 4, send them back, on that blind essentially, and then just keep pushing further until they're comfortable moving, so they understand what that back means, you know what I mean?
Right. And so you're just putting buckets out there. Or you're putting bumpers around the bucket, under the bucket.
Yep. So put your bucket out there. So what's she comfortable at? You say 100 yards.
She's comfortable, yeah, like 100, 150.
So start at like 125. Put a white bucket out there and put maybe 2 bumpers out there. 2 white bumpers. Make it visible for now.
Right.
Get her on those. End her on a good note. If she runs those 2, boom, great. Do it again the next day. All right, cool. She had it, no problem. Let's move it back to 150, 175. Put 2 more bumpers out there. She's doing really good. Okay, the next day, put 4 or 5 bumpers out there. Boom, she's great. Let's do 225. She runs that flawlessly. Let's remove that bucket. Put them white bumpers out there. Put a couple out there.
That's really good.
And that, people do it different, I watch Freddie King. I don't know if you.
I know. I've watched some of his videos on YouTube, but
I like Freddie King. And just doing drills that learned from other people, old timers and stuff like that, and someone might say, hey, that's wrong, you shouldn't use a bucket, but I guarantee it works for me. I can send Goose, I guarantee, on a 300-yard blind by the time I'm done getting him shaped up. Now be careful though when you do those buckets that you switch it up, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to continue running that same line, you know what I mean, because they'll get used to that area. You got to move around. That's another thing, like we talked about earlier, is going different places and doing it. Move that bucket, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't do it the same spot, because I've done that. I've had Goose, last year when I first got done with season, I started doing it every single day in the same spot. It was a tree about 225, and it was pushing through CRP. Excuse me. It was cut grass. You had to push through CRP into an open field, which it's tough. You know what I mean? Because they're pushing through all that grass. And I did that for about a week, and it took me about 2 weeks to fix that.
Going to the same spot, you're saying?
Spot. So you definitely want to make sure you switch it up, you know what I mean? But you want to make sure your dog's comfortable with that, though. Now he's fine, obviously, because when they mature a little bit more, they understand. But and if you have to, use mowed lanes. You know what I mean? That's a big thing we use
to start
too.
off.
Just to start off, yeah. Absolutely. Don't overdo it. You don't. Right. I'm not telling you to go set a bucket out at 200 yards where she has to push through water onto land through CRP. Don't do that yet.
Right.
You know what I mean? You want to start easy. Get her confidence build up.
I feel like that's the biggest thing with people that are just they'll watch these videos and they'll skip like the first 30 videos or 30 minutes of it, and they're jumping right to conclusion on it all.
Yep.
Start it slow. Start it easy. Make sure they understand what's going on and what you want from them, and then start building it up from there. Like, you can't just jump in head first into the water. I mean, you gotta slowly walk in.
And that's a whole nother animal too. I mean, you're pushing across water onto land, and further. Say you're running a pond that's only 50 yards wide, but you want to set that bumper out 200 yards,
right?
Where they got to push through 150 yards of land, but 50 yards of water first.
Right.
That's a whole nother animal.
Right.
And that goes back to making sure you get them comfortable with you first before you make yourself think like, okay, they can do it when they can't, because you're gonna get frustrated.
Well, and that's the thing though too, where like I applaud you guys for being the only ones. I mean, the bigger guys out there, obviously, I know that they have the land and the property that they can do whatever they want, but there's not too many dog trainers out there that are giving them the areas and the opportunities that you guys are giving them, like with water training or whatever it may be. Like, you guys kind of have a variety of spots where you guys can go and jump around.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, you don't see that.
You don't.
If they're doing it, you don't know it.
No.
Because they're not posting about it.
Right.
You see these guys, when you do see these guys, you're watching them train around mowed ponds that might have a little CRP.
Yep.
Great. That's good for when you're trying to get your dog going. You're
not dealing with high
but you're not going to focus on that all summer. You know what I mean? You're going to be getting in. I train on rivers. I'll train on rivers. I'll set bumpers up on the rivers. I'll swamps. I'll go to lakes. It's parks.
That was a thing for me when Ellie was real young. We would go. I would purposely go to the thickest spot with my outboard motor, and throw that bumper in the thickest muck and seaweed spot there was, just to get her a stronger swimmer and like I said, the scent, the smells. I mean, all that stuff, just so she knows how to just drive through that. Like, just get her used to all that stuff. Because when I first got, I was hunting all water, not field. So obviously, like, the training is obviously not been all the same for her, but just getting her used to them situations, like an actual hunting scenario. So I don't know.
I guess the biggest thing that opened my eyes is when I bought Kobe. I bought Kobe as a started dog, and I bought her off of a kennel out of Wisconsin.
Ooh, which kennel?
I won't say no names over it, but I'll text it to you.
Okay.
but I had all the intentions. I spent $6,000 on this dog, and Wes can testify right here.
Mm-hmm.
I spent $6,000 on this dog. He's a 1.5 years old. Started, you know, you think $6,000, right? Ready to go. We're running.
How old was he when he?
1.5 years old when I picked him up. You
wow.
spend that much money, you're like, okay, this dog is ready for everything. He shouldn't be anything.
Right.
We take this dog out first day opener. We have, 4 or 5 guns in a marsh?
Yeah.
Something like that. I got him on a mow marsh stand. We're in water. He's
Right.
up off the water. This dog freaks, dude. I had to put him on a lead because he was running away from me. Mm-hmm. Scared. Shitless.
Because the gunfire, or like
just everything, the whole scenario, the gunfire, the whole environment of being in a marsh, that's what opened my eyes right there. Like, these guys are not training
like
in scenarios like we are.
They're not showing them all those different looks. I'm huge on that too. Those different looks are going to make or break your dog for a long time.
Absolutely. And I was learning too, right? So, I mean, some of it was my fault, but when you pay that much money for a dog that has not been around that environment of being in swamps or marshes or gunfire, like when we train, if we're working on a dog with gunfire and they're really scared of it, by the time we're done, we're shooting 4 or 5 guns around them. And you can ask a few guys that's brought me dogs that were scared to death of a gun.
Now, with the gunfire, because I know a lot of guys that go out there and shoot their 10 gauges right off next to the dog as soon as they're a puppy, and the dog's scared shitless because they have no idea what's going on. Mm-hmm. Are you guys kind of the same way? You kind of work far and then work your way in for comfort?
Yeah. And that wasn't just the gunfire.
Just example-wise.
Yeah. We'll do that. And he wasn't gun shy. Kobe wasn't gun shy.
Right.
I took him out to a trainer a couple weeks later after that to see what the hell is going on, because I was new to it. I'm like, man, dude, I spent $6,000 on this dog. He's gun shy, and it was so bad. He was so terrified of everything. If I put a piece of camouflage on, dog was gone. He was gone for over a day.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Yep. That's really weird to me, and I kind of have an idea because I'm here in Wisconsin. I'm pretty connected out here in the hunting world. I have an idea. But
does it start with an N?
No, but there's a lot of kennels out here.
I got you. But yeah, and that wasn't just like the gunfire. That was just the whole socialization thing. They're not taking these dogs to swamps. They're not taking them on boats. They're not taking them to park. Some might be, but I'm not seeing it.
Right.
Show me that you're doing that.
No, I mean,
because you're not.
Right.
And you get a started dog like that, like, damn, you spend that much money, you know what I mean? I don't know. That's my opinion. I think
it's almost like a lot of these like pages that are popping up. Like I said before, Great Lakes Outdoors. We're not the biggest. We're not the best. Not the biggest podcast. Not the biggest hunters. Not anything special.
Right.
But you got a lot of these guys that are hunting one good hunt a year, and all of a sudden they're guides. So it's like kind of one of those things where it's like, you're just not like you do one time and you're not showing anything else about yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? But for a new dog owner, you spend $6,000 on a dog. You assume, looking back on that, what would you do differently? I mean, take the dog out by yourself maybe one time just to kind of see, like, what would you do?
Yeah, I mean,
that's
not buy a started dog again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Just
were you led to believe that this dog was ready to hunt, been in these situations, been over gunfire? Were you led to believe any of that, or were you told any of that, or were you just told she was ready to
100%? It was ready to go as a started dog. You know what I mean? And I pushed it. Some of it was on me. And not on all the dog, but that goes back to, like I was saying, like, these guys aren't training like me and Hunter are.
Right.
That's why it happened.
Right.
You know what I mean? and I'm not saying all these trainers are trash or nothing like that, and I learned from that. I should have never took him out in a marsh with 4 or 5 guns and expected him to do every single thing in the world, because we don't expect that either when we train like we train. But they are more well-rounded in their, they've been around that environment a little bit more versus that dog I picked up. They're not going to be like, oh, shit, I'm on a boat. I need to, I'm pissing down my leg because I've never been on a boat. And this guy just picked me up from the trainer yesterday, and teal season's in, now and expecting, you know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to get at.
Some random guy that just throws me out in the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
Hey, Wes, do you have a dog?
No, I used to actually run beagles and train beagles.
Oh,
so
here we
some
go.
Of this stuff
Here we go. Big old rabbit guy. Here we go.
Some of this stuff kind of ties in, and I've been just listening because I'm not a lab guy at all.
Right.
But I love them. But there's a difference, and you asked this earlier, there's a difference between a field trial dog and a hunting dog. I'll just tell you that right now.
I believe it, yeah.
And I used to run field trials, so I know. But I also ran dogs that hunted. And you would go to these field trials, and the scenarios are not the same. That you're, even with a lab, you're not going to get into the same scenarios.
You don't have a cripple running away or trying to fly away.
And you don't have people calling all over, and, it's pandemonium.
You send a dog out, and the dog's got to come back because there's another flock flying. Like, there's no scenario at all that you can, like, help a dog, like, get used to going out there, trying to grab a bird, bringing it back, making it feel like it didn't do anything wrong without getting the retrieval. Oh yeah, there's just nothing. Every hunt's different.
It is, yeah, and it ties into what he's saying. He was made to believe that this dog was ready to go, and the time that he ran away, we didn't even shoot that day around him.
No.
We had him brought there to get these birds out of there. And he just freaked and ran like on a straight line through a bean field and just gone. And it's like, and I'm just getting in the waterfowl hunt, and I'm like, that ain't right. Like, something's off.
That's what I had with Ellie. I don't know if you remember that story. I don't even know if I told Alex about this one. So, Alex, we were hunting, when you came out and hunted with us last day of season?
Yeah.
So, the field that we hunted the day before, I think I showed it to you. You seen like a flock or two land out in that field?
Yep.
So we were hunting that field. It was right along the train tracks. So never seen a train on these. Nothing. That morning, here it comes. The train's coming down the tracks. And my dad was like, hey, you better watch the dog, because we're literally sitting right on the tracks. And I was like, oh, she's fine. Like, she's been stuck. We've been stuck at a train before. Like, she knows what's going on,
Right.
Next thing you know, I'm turning around trying to get the train to honk and stuff, not thinking about like the rattle on the ground or anything. She's in the mow marsh blind, like everything's secluded around her. She has no idea what's going on. It might have been different if she was able to see. Next thing you know, I look up and she's 300-400 yards away, and I tie Ellie up every single time. Just we hunt with a lot of guys. The most guys we hunted with this year was, I think, 15.
Wow.
14 or 15 guys.
Group.
And that's not always, don't get me wrong. It's not always, but I don't know how everybody hunts all the time. So I'll just tie her up just in case, like, she gets, anxious and jumps out, which she does a lot, don't get me wrong, which I definitely got to work on that. But she's hauling the blind across the field 400 yards out. I'm hitting her with the collar to tell her to stop, which she's probably freaking out more off of that. But me not knowing, because I'm freaking out, it was like the most terrifying thing I've ever even dealt with. It was insane. Absolutely crazy. So I kind of know how you feel, because then you're like, oh, there goes my $6,000 dog through the field.
Yeah. And that goes back to, like, training, like you're hunting too.
Right.
I mean, we're using all types of blinds that you can imagine that a hunter would have, A-frames, decoys, live birds, dead birds, in just different areas. We might look like goons up at the park when you're walking your kids around. But
Hey.
my dog is gonna be socialized. Damn it,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Right.
A lot of guys, I mean, they'd take their dogs to a trap range,
Yeah.
and they'll
Just
leave
have
their
'em sit.
dogs in the bed, and they'll just let them be around gunfire constantly.
Take them anywhere. Tractor
Well, and
supply. You know what I mean?
I think
Like
last
Walmart.
time we were here,
service dog.
which I almost brought one up tonight. I almost brought Ellie up tonight. But like half the time we do these podcasts, they're just sitting here in the corner, just sitting on the stand or whatever it may be. You know, just same thing, just to socialize with people. Obviously, they're kind of used to people now, or they are used to people, but like just still getting them out of the house and doing whatever. And I feel like that's the two biggest things with dog training. Obviously, I'm no dog trainer. Is socializing and repetition.
Yeah.
That's the two biggest things. That's personally. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know.
No.
But I don't know. Alex, you got any other like dog questions
Oh
or
man,
training questions?
no, because my girl does all that, and I know a lot from her now.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Get your balls out of her purse.
she's actually the one that bred my dog before me and her were together.
I mean, I think one thing.
I don't.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, I don't know, man. Everybody's different. Like, that's what I love about dog training too, is there's so many different styles and types of the way people do it. Like, the guys that I go hunt with in Arkansas, they will refuse to train their fucking dogs on site. They said if they could take a blindfold and put it on that dog and just have them retrieve cripples that landed far out that we didn't get, they said they would do that with a puppy just to train them on scent. Mm-hmm. And then, like, another thing that I've heard from them is, like, take your dog to the same place every time to train them, which I'm not a believer in that. But it's just, I love listening to guys talk about dogs. Like, Dustin, this was awesome, man.
Yeah. And,
you know.
I don't want to cut you off, but that brings
up
a valid point of
what works best for them.
Training, every different style. So I don't know if you ever heard of what is it called? The Retriever Roadmap or something like that?
Never heard of that.
So, yeah, that's
what's his name?
Justin at River Oak Kennel over here.
So
one of my buddies, Brandon Schultz, is good friends with him, and I've been in on about 4 or 5 of his seminars now. He's really good.
He is very good. So my buddy Kevin, he's been doing that continuously. He pays for it, whatever. And
no, what is that though?
It tells you, it's a Retriever to Roadmap. It tells you every single step you need to know.
Oh, it's just like a guide.
Yep.
Okay.
And so he was struggling on force fetching.
That was going to be one of my questions.
So his style of force fetching is with the shock collar. My style of force fetching was ear pinch. Kevin was so frustrated with his dog, he was like, dude, I'm done with her. She's 7-8 months. I said, bring her over. Mm-hmm. Just give me a chance. Force fetch in 2 weeks.
Really?
Done. She's on pile work now. And that's not knocking that guy's. Sometimes it just don't work for that. His dog is soft.
Back to that personality.
She cannot take that shock collar. She just don't like it. And everything else he has done has been very good. As far, it's just different styles. You could take a little bit of mine, you could take a little bit of his, you could take a little bit of Freddie King's, you could take a little bit of whoever, and you're gonna just piece together whatever works for that dog.
I think that's
100%.
Going back to the shot collar. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's a very, very tricky tool.
Oh yeah,
to have and know when and when not to use it.
You ruin a dog.
And I feel, me personally, like training always isn't the best option for that. I feel like just like a long lead is almost more of a better option for that, just because you never want to discourage the dog for something like that. If you have a dog that, you've been working, like Goose, for example, mm-hmm. That's a different story because he knows in his head, but he wants to do a different thing. Or right. Any dog. I shouldn't even say Goose or any dog. Mm-hmm. But a newer dog, I feel like you can't use a shot collar right off the rip because they don't have a clue.
Yeah, and I mean, he followed his steps. You know, he collar conditioned her, so she knew the shot collar.
Okay.
And collar conditioning comes before your force fetch.
Right.
Because that's a part of obedience. And if you don't have obedience down, there's no point of forcing a dog to force fetch. And force fetch is a boring process. It took me a month to force fetch Goose. But I started Goose at a year old. I was bad about it. I got him around hunting season.
You're anxious about it.
And I busted my ass all summer to train him. And but he's a different animal too. He's different. He's bred. But going back to his dog, just watching him shock her, she just twitches her neck, and right then and there, like, okay, she's shutting down. So that didn't work for him. You know what I mean? But other things have off that. But that's the thing. Just piece it all together and just get as much knowledge as you can and just try it.
And I think, that's a huge thing too. With no matter what you do in life or just hunting or dog training or whatever it may be, you might watch, and I'll say it time and time again, like this whole podcast thing is for the people that don't want to ask the questions on social media because they're just going to get railed on it because it's relentless now. Like people are just down to hunt you down and take your knees off. Like they're it's bad, man. And a lot of people like they deserve it because they're asking like dumb questions. Obviously,
nobody gets a break on the internet, dude.
No. But like, take pieces. But it's. I'll go back to even understanding the personality of the dog. Take pieces from Freddie King. Take pieces from you, or take pieces from this guy or that guy or whoever, and figure out what works for your dog if that's what you're wanting.
Yep.
You can't just follow off of one guy's step because that's the dog that he wants to show you in the videos or seminar or whatever it may be. Doesn't mean it's going to work for that same dog's personality.
Right, and it might not work for you either.
Exactly.
You might not be doing it the exact right way as that guy's doing it.
Right.
And that's a big factor too.
Right.
What works for you and the dog.
Now, for you, I mean, you say you want to go back into not go back into it, but the hunt trials and stuff like that. You want to get your name out there, more exposed in that aspect. Do you see yourself being more of a kennel in the future again?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I would be like Southern Oaks or, taking 10, 15 dogs by myself, but I'm thinking maybe like 5 or less.
But
you know what I mean?
I feel like in that term though, with 5, like we'll say 10. We'll say 10. It's more of an individual look on each dog compared to just getting a giant number of dogs.
Right.
And then you're only spending 2 minutes a day or what, like not enough time with those dogs unless you have help, obviously.
Right.
Way to go, Hunter, for moving to Arkansas. No, but like, unless you have help with those dogs, you got to be able to select that one dog for this amount of time.
It depends on how much work you want to do. I mean,
depends on the owner and what they want out of the dog.
Hunter and I, when we were training the past 2.5 years, we still had a full-time job too.
Right.
And we would
certified
make sure
high-low driver right here.
Yeah, we made sure that we at least give the dogs 15 minutes or more several times a day.
Do you have that shirt?
What?
The certified high-low driver?
No, I need it though.
I should get you that for whenever, I don't know, but I should get it.
It was my birthday last week.
Was it?
Yeah.
Tanner told me that you're having some shindig
I'm old, dude.
Sunday?
Yeah, dude, I'm trying to get people to get together and bring some dogs out, but I can never get anybody to come out. I don't know if they're scared or
You didn't even tell me about it.
I posted on Snapchat.
I didn't get it.
It's on my story from yesterday.
Oh,
or
I'm
this
bad
morning.
about
I
that
posted
then.
it today. I don't know. But yeah, I ain't charging nobody or nothing. I just want to help people, that are locals that need help, that are genuinely just because you can watch a video and still not pick something up. And I'm not saying I'm the best,
and that's even the whole thing with like, what you got a hold of me last week or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we could go from tomorrow, whenever it was. Anyway, but that's what's awesome about like having you this close, and 2 hours is 2 hours. Obviously, it's not like it's just across the street.
Right.
But I can call you, or I can have a buddy call you and ask a question about something, and you're going to give them an answer instead of just like, hey, watch, subscribe to this video or whatever. So I get, it's nice to have.
Yeah, it sounds like I'm gonna have a few guys coming out though. There's a couple boys out from Toledo that I'm not. Maybe Nick or something. I don't know. So there's a few guys that's coming out, and I've just been trying to get some guys to train with. That's all I'm trying to do, and just if they need help, they need help, and hell, I need their help too, setting up, and maybe they can learn something from me, and I can learn something from them.
I was just gonna say that too. Even every dog owner and everything, you're gonna learn something new every single time. Like and if you don't, you might as well retire because I mean. It's gonna be there. You just got to be open to see it.
And it's not like if you are just a here and there hunter and you do have a dog that is half-assed, bring it.
Right.
Let's get it to where it's not half-assed or make it just a little bit better. That's where I'm at with it. There's just I don't know. I could go on about half-assed hunters around back home, but.
I'm sure me and Kyle could too.
Yeah.
We won't do that right now.
We can.
We can do whatever you want.
I'm falling kind of off of your lead.
Water.
I'm falling off of you. So if you want to talk about it, me and Alex have
we can
a
talk
lot of ammo in
whatever.
the
I
in
got
the bank.
lots of ammo.
We haven't even talked about our season yet.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about our season.
How was your season?
It wasn't bad.
It was
Well,
tough,
that's
man.
good.
It was tough.
It was a tough one, but
Yeah.
we did a.
You guys did really good though, from the pictures and videos that I was getting. I mean,
we did good. We
you guys
did.
had what 10 bands this year or something?
Fuck no, we're not.
20.
We're not from
Yeah.
Toledo. Our buddies don't band them for us. Sorry. No, anyway.
Shots fired.
No, we.
Alex gets that joke too. Don't worry.
Yeah, we.
125 fucking percent I do.
About 90% of our hunting was out of a boat this year on lakes that we had no clue about that we have map scouted on our phones or checked over the summer.
Tell Alex about the old white majestic.
Oh, the Buffy?
Yeah. Listen to this, Alex.
Yeah, I shot a white Buffy
Solid white bubblehead.
in a field in Bryan, Ohio.
Bingo.
What do you think about that?
Solid white.
Solid white.
You
Almost.
get that fucker mounted.
Oh yeah, he's mounted. It's
Oh, I was
it's
gonna say
pretty
better.
much albino, but you got your people that says it didn't have pink eyes. So it had pink feet, pink bill. Greg from Fallen Feathers mounted it for me. Did phenomenal. He says
It does look
it
good.
is
It's an
white
amazing
as it can be. But yeah,
That's badass. In a field too, eh?
no, yeah,
That's
That
wild.
bird is controversial.
yeah, it is.
It got a lot of. Did you have a TikTok video on it? You had
I don't know.
a lot of people were commenting.
You guys had a little bit
It
of
was
everything.
shared everywhere. It was big.
Yeah, I had somebody want to buy it from me. I told him 10 grand, you can have it.
10 grand.
Yeah, take it off my hands.
Oh, I don't care. I got the picture with it. You want to pay me 10 grand? You can have
That
it.
that picture, I'm sure you might have even seen it, Alex, because it was all over the
Oh,
place
it
for
was
a little
everywhere.
while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, man. I don't recall seeing it.
I got your number now. I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
please
was
do.
all over.
It's pretty neat. Yeah.
I know last time you guys were in here, you guys were having a lot of drama and nonsense going around your side of the state with fields and stuff. I mean, you guys kind of still dealing with the same thing.
But we didn't have no drama this year at all.
Really?
We didn't hunt fields, so
Besides once, I think.
I wasn't my drama.
I want to say it was somebody that contacted me, and Hunter knew about it. It was between somebody's girlfriend or something.
Somebody's girl. I'm new to this one. Let's hear it.
Uh-oh.
I know what he's talking about.
What's he talking about?
He's probably talking about that field with the guys that were just on.
Brad and them?
Yeah.
Tanner?
The
But that
girlfriend
had
didn't get
nothing-
a hold of me. It was
No.
somebody else that got a hold of me, but it was. Oh, no. I know what it was.
Yeah.
I'll take everything I said back. Snapchat location, and you'll probably understand it.
Snapchat?
Yeah.
I'm lost, dude.
I remember that too.
What?
I've got a crazy memory.
Yeah, well, tell me. Enlighten me.
Well, I just remember it was somebody's girlfriend that had the Snapchat location on, I believe it was. And
Kendall?
That was the very first day of season.
Oh,
September.
yeah.
Yes.
September 1st, dude. It's like
Yeah.
we shot. We had Sean out. Sean was out
Yes.
because he was on a wedding or something. The guy slides up. messaging Kendall, you're hunting this lake, da-da-da, honey hole, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, who the fuck are you, man?
Yeah, because I remember Hunter talking to me about that.
I didn't say nothing. You know, I'm just like, man, you have the audacity to just sit there and just call out your spots like that, man. I'm like, whatever, you know. He's one of them boys that's got all them, you know, everything handed to him, money and whatever. So and you want to sit there and message a girl that just turned 18 years old. Why don't you message me?
Right.
Why don't you message Hunter? Why don't you message one of the other guys?
Me and Alex.
Because you don't have a balls to do it. That's
me
what
and
it
Alex
is.
get that
just like anybody
so much
around our
us.
area.
Yeah.
Really? You guys get that around here?
But that was the only drama we had, I would say. I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't even really drama because we didn't even respond to it. I could have. I wanted to.
I remember hearing it from Hunter, but yeah, personally, I get a lot of drama because
we
of
used to until last year.
what you guys did.
We didn't hunt fields though. That's the big thing. We didn't beat these boys to these fields and mop them up. We started
right. I remember
we did get drama though. I started getting hate because I was traveling in Michigan and people seen my truck and added me on Snapchat and like, how do you know about this lake? What are you doing up here? Aren't you from Ohio? Don't worry, I'll be in Ohio soon smashing birds. I'm like, here, you can have every pin I have on my phone. If I want a field, I'm gonna beat you to it.
And that's the thing. Go ahead, Alex.
I just want to say, listening to all this shit makes me just absolutely love Wisconsin more and more and more. Dude, I can't tell you how many fields this year that we met up with people already scouting the field, and they're like, if y'all boys want to hunt with us, hunt with us. Now we hunt with them like every weekend. We have like 4 groups like that.
It's starting to get like that back home.
Here, man.
It's starting to get like that because we stopped playing around a little bit, I think. I don't know. I started to stay away from the shit. And if I seriously don't like you as a person or a group, and I have permission for that field and I know you're going to hunt it and you have done me wrong, you're never going to beat me. You're never going to beat me.
Well, and that's the thing, too. Like, for going back to, like personal drama for us.
Some of the hours we spent
Bro, we are
sleeping.
camping out.
Oh, dude.
See, I don't even deal with fields like that.
I'll be there just to prove a point, and we'll fucking mop them up just to prove a point.
My
But we
whole
don't do
thing
that no
is-
more. That was years ago. We got away from that.
My whole thing is with the podcast and just the page itself. I mean, we're a pretty big page.
Mm-hmm.
Like on Instagram and stuff. I mean, we're almost at 10.
Yeah.
You know, so it's growing daily. So people think we're guiding.
Mm-hmm.
They see the big groups out there. They see the trucks and stuff like that. They just automatically think we're guiding. People start telling farmers and landowners that we're guiding and using their land to make money, and it's like, dude, I got half of my family out here right now. Like, what are you even talking about right now?
I was just gonna say your group is like 70% family.
Yeah, so it's just like it's one of those things where I've met people on the side of the road, and they're like, "Yeah, we're out here scouting and seeing all these birds. We're gonna go ask for permission." And it's like, "Oh, I got permission. I mean, how many guys you got tomorrow?" And it was like, "Just me and another buddy." It's like, "All right, just jump in with us then. Just bring whatever. I got everything else. Just what." I try to be as civil with everybody as I possibly can because there's only like 3 groups that hunt in the area. Like you were out there last year, even though it was, I don't want to say a shitty hunt. We've seen a lot of birds, but it was a bluebird day, late season, and they were water to water. But in that area, there's only like 3 groups, and we are very cool with everybody, and everything's good to go now. Right. You might have some stragglers here and there and some random field, whatever. But people are just so cutthroat nowadays.
Yeah. And that's not what I'm saying. We're not like that at all.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
No. I just want to clarify that over this because people are going to be listening and they're going to be hating, and I don't care. The point of the matter is we have always tried to work with people since the waterfowl has came into our area. Dude, I've been grinding since I've been 6-7 years old.
And why is waterfowl that way around here?
I don't know why.
It sucks ass.
Yeah, North Ohio, dude. Your guys' groups out there.
Dude, we got 10 groups hunting 5 ponds, five roost areas, and nobody wants to get along.
Yeah,
and you could get along, and we've tried, dude.
Small groups.
And we've tried and tried and tried to the point where we're getting kicked off properties because people are running their mouths and and stuff like that. And then that's when I start taking it personal.
100%.
You start messing with something that I enjoy, and that's my passion. I'm going to get you back.
And that was the whole thing for us where, like, a lot of these guys that were running their mouth, like, they knew me.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you guys after the podcast, but all you got to do is Snapchat me.
Mm-hmm.
All you got to do is just text me, whatever it is. You don't have to go to the farm because they don't want to deal with the shit.
No, they'll kick everybody
care
off.
less about any of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's like,
See ya.
just because there was a situation last year or this past year, we got kicked off because we were told we were guiding out there. Not true, and we go back, get permission again. Because the farmer actually, like, it's hard to say, like, over the phone when we're not super close with this landowner. And we get permission again. So I text the guy. I said, hey, I got permission again this year. You have permission. Let's work together. I'm contacting you because I want to work together. 2 days later, no hunting allowed on that property. Because he went back again, even though I was willing to work with him.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why can nobody ever just, like, be civil about anything with this waterfowl?
It sucks. It's
Well-
gotten better, though, back home, I would say.
That's good because I know you guys ran into a lot of problems
Oh, yeah.
in previous years.
Always.
Yep.
Always.
And a lot of times too, it's not even direct.
Right.
It's like through third party.
Everybody
I
is
heard from
scared.
so and so, and it's
Yep.
like, come on, man. And I'm not just saying that because we're like best friends, but a lot of people don't know
Oh,
Dustin
yeah, you
like
are.
that. I
I'm
mean,
just
they,
joking.
they don't know that this dude will literally invite just about anybody to come hunt, as long as you're not like a shithead.
There's two motherfuckers around home I
Yeah.
will not hunt with.
But this dude will invite, like, there's so many youngsters that we've
Oh,
brought
yeah.
along.
I've taken so many people. Dude, I would rather, like when I guided in Texas, I barely I shot quite a
Yeah.
bit, but dude, I enjoyed watching everybody.
Yeah.
Dude, I would rather just be out there hunting with you guys and helping you guys and teaching you something I can learn from you, running my dog, working together and being smart and stop educating all these damn birds around home so everybody's hunting is better. That's where we're come to this year. And that's why everybody back home struggled this year, why we grinded and killed shit, because they educated birds and they don't know how to kill them.
Yeah.
And that's all part of learning. I'm not knocking it if you're trying, but if you're doing it obnoxiously and being stupid and you got an ego the size of whatever, it's annoying because dude, I will help anybody.
Besides the ego part, I feel like me and Alex literally just had this conversation like 2 days ago about trying to think the words to say it. I'll just say group of guys or people around us. It's like, listen, dude, like, if you don't hunt right on the property line here, I will take you when that field loads up. Let's just be smart about this whole situation, and let's all work together, and we'll both prosper off of it. Like, it'll be complete. I mean, Alex, that was literally like, what, 2 days ago? Yesterday, maybe even we talked about that?
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Like, we literally have this conversation all the time about like these, but it goes kind of back towards all these hunting groups and stuff that are starting up where, a lot of these guys hit these like the plateau area and they just need to get over. And I feel like that's kind of where we're at. We kind of got lucky when we started. It was early, but nobody just wants to take that extra little step to get up there. You know what I mean? And nobody wants to take any advice from anybody. Everybody just wants to be themselves and screw everybody else. And it's just not the right way
No.
of looking at it.
And I mean, the biggest thing too back home is it seems like all these groups think that they have something that's a hidden gem where I would say 95% of it, anybody can get permission for. There's only a few select spots that, that we have that you're not going to get, or we can't get because another group has. There's very, very, very limited things, and it's like, why not work together and just grind? We got away from field hunting quite a bit this year. I bought a new boat this spring, and I tell you what, if I could water hunt from September 1st to February, I would sell every full body I had and hunt at the lake because I enjoyed it
Now,
so
you,
much.
Wes, you got a mic in front of you, Wes. You can
I'm
talk.
just- I'm just messing.
He's a goose. He's
I'm
a
a
goose
big-time
fanatic.
goose hunter,
He
yeah.
likes them generic ass birds. I don't get it, dude.
I'm the same way.
I don't get
You're
it.
a goose hunter or a duck hunter? Big time. Like, what would you favor more?
That's tough. I'll go goose. Honestly.
Yeah, Kyle,
Dry
you're
field.
a goose hunter through and through.
But we shoot a couple mallards every year in the fields. I'll put it that
Yeah.
way.
No.
To
and
be humble about it all, we shoot a couple mallards in the fields.
sure, I would. And we did a lot of water hunting this year, way more than I've ever done.
I would say how many times we hunt a field this year? 10? 10 times?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Including
Early season, January to February.
Wow.
Yeah, and early
maybe.
season was tough until the last 2 days.
Early season sucked ass this year. For
But
us.
I would, man, I tell you,
You shot your first band, though, so hey.
yeah,
I
yeah.
remember seeing the picture. And when I
Yeah.
seen him, I was like, oh, that was a guy that
Dirty
shot that-
bastard shot a black one, too.
Yeah, yeah, black
Ah.
one. Hunter and I both.
Yep.
But I would take mallards or any kind of duck really in a cornfield. Oh,
I'll
I
take a
just love
coot
it.
over a goose.
Seriously?
It's not that I can kill them.
Wait, what?
I love.
He's a nut.
Are you racist
Listen,
of Canada?
No.
Canadians?
They're generic. Who gives a shit about a
I
dirty
think
goose?
he's
more bands
racist,
on it,
Kyle.
though.
They're stupid. Dude, I love shooting them. Don't get me wrong, and we kill them.
I mean, I know it's 2024.
Dude, I will take. I will
I
go
got-
shoot 50 coots over.
I got ancestors
100
from
geese.
Canada,
Don't care.
so
Oh, yeah.
I take that offensively.
You take
all
it.
right?
Take it as you
Jesus.
want.
He
I
said,
just-
"Don't care."
Where I'm at with it, and you can probably agree with this, and you're gonna think I'm a
You're a nut
fucking
job.
idiot.
You're an idiot already. I'm telling you.
But I tell you, man, finishing geese is more satisfying because
It is.
geese are a lot harder to trick, in my opinion.
My whole thing.
100%.
I don't know. Mallard's pretty.
Dude, the mallards this year were worse than geese. It was crazy.
Well, Alex, what are you, a duck guy or a goose guy? I feel like you're a duck guy, Alex.
I'm a duck guy, man. I started out duck hunting. I got the thirst really bad. Like don't get me wrong, I love shooting both, and I'll go shoot both at any time, anywhere. But I grew up duck hunting. But these past 2 years, man, since I've been goose hunting a lot more, that's where my focus is at now.
You can't tell me that last day of season was
Oh my God.
perfect. We literally set up behind a guy's house on the garage. We put snow covers
runway.
on the back, and we put regular on the front of the A-frame because it was a white garage. So that's why we put the snow covers on the backside. Literally had, 60 yards of grass, Alex?
Yeah.
And we were finishing geese like, no, but it's just one of those things where it's like more tactical, I guess you want to say, like more of like a science behind it.
Right.
Because since we are hunting, whether it be like that flooded corn or, I mean, that's really the only water that we have, which I really want to get more ponds or smaller lakes, especially in September, or like the bluebird days kind of thing.
Yeah.
Mallard hunting for me, it's like throw a goose spread out, they're coming in.
Yes. Yep.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
that's the way that we hunt, though. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we the big day we had last year. I think that was the day or one of the days. You're like, dude, you have a hunt like that next year. You got to bring me out to it. Well, we shot the snow goose. That day, I think we had like 4 spinners out there, but you don't even need a
No.
mallard decoy out there.
No.
You know what I mean? Like they're coming right to you. And I think that's just more of like the science behind like the goose hunting that I like trying to work all that stuff. But like I said, I'm not hunting water. I'm hunting fields.
I don't know. I enjoyed hunting them lakes this year.
Oh yeah. No, I don't take anything away from
Oh
that
yeah,
at
you
all.
are.
just getting out there and
You said
learning.
fields only next year.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
No, dude, and you get burned out.
The water's
Yeah.
a different hunt. You
It
know what I
is.
mean, it's more
So
of like
different, dude.
It's an adventure.
but it's more of like
Right.
gratifying. Like, is that even a word? Gratifying? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Like a more of a success. Like after you do kill more ducks on the water.
Sure.
Because like anybody could have been there.
Right.
Yep.
Anybody could be scouting this,
Yep.
and you're the one that's pulling the trigger.
Oh, geese are fun. I don't know. I'm a duck guy. Always been.
There's a lot of bullshit that comes with fields. I think that's what turns everybody off from it. And I'm going to be honest with you. I want to touch back on that really quick. Is like I've always told Kyle, I've never dedicated myself to one group of guys. I've always had the intention in my head. This is what I think when I wake up is I'm going to hunt by myself. And if somebody invites me to come hunt or somebody wants to come hunt with me, you're more than welcome. But my train just stayed straight. I got fucked over too many times by bad people. Just, you know how that goes when you're first starting out and you're learning and you just get screwed over time after time, or you meet shitty people and it kind of puts a bad taste in your mouth. Then you go solo dolo. And that was just kind of what I did. And I feel for you guys having to deal with that shit because it sucks. And I think it's a great thing that Kyle's done with the podcast for all the groups around here, just to get them in and get everybody acquainted and make sure we know we're not trying to kill each other and we're all out there to do what we love, you know?
We're all out there to do the same thing as the next guy. I mean, hell, our group from 5 years ago to now is changed tremendously. I think now we hunt with maybe 4 guys.
It takes a, like, I've gone through people to find that core group. Mm-hmm. We're back on after the interruption from old Jerry. I don't even know what we were just talking about because that just threw me way off.
About groups, yeah.
So you have guys that, you know, want to put the effort in and stuff like that. And like Alyx and I just hunted the first time together the last day of season. And we've talked about it prior. Like it takes a certain person to really have that want. Mm-hmm. You know, you got the guys that want to go hunting and pull the trigger, but you don't have the guys that want to put like the backbone, the scouting every day. Like that, it takes a while to find that core group that are just killers.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough for him too. I mean, he's an hour from my house, so he does as much as he can, which I don't really rely on him too much because I understand his situation.
Right.
And I don't know. I'm so used to just grinding it by myself and scouting as much as I can, and doing it. And then with Hunter being down in Arkansas, he was a big help too. But we managed to kill shit. You know what I mean?
We just have so many people that are spread out. You know, like I am an hour away.
Which is good though, in a sense, if you're able to use it.
Yes. Right. Yep. And it just, you know, and he's not wrong. I'm not scouting every single time, but I try my very best to help where I can. Little stuff, even just like
calling, for instance.
Yep.
This guy right here, he's our best goose caller in our group. That he might not be scouting.
Goes along.
But guess what he's doing at home? He might be blowing that goose call for 45 minutes to an hour at home. That matters.
Team calling though is a thing.
It's so big.
That's huge.
I love hearing that though. The team aspect of it. Everybody has a fucking job and you do what you're good at, man. I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, me and him go together pretty good.
Because everybody wants to blow over top of each other.
Yep.
If you sound like a well-oiled machine and rhythm, and one guy's murmuring and one guy's clucking or whatever it may be, and when you start hunting with a group of guys, like for, I don't know, a couple hunts or whatever, you start getting like to know what how the person calls, or if you're looking at the birds the way that they're flying, you understand like what's going on or what you're gonna have to do to get the birds back into you. Or even if you're hunting an X, like they're already coming to you, so you don't got to do much, whatever it may be, to understand what to use in a call. Like you don't have to go crazy every single time.
No.
Yep.
Small clucks here and there, and another guy, like I said, murmur in the back, whatever.
Yeah, it's communication.
Yeah.
It's that look over to that guy, we need to step it up. We gotta step up, or hey, back it off, and we can just look at each other and be like, okay. Same with Blake. I mean, Blake's pretty decent at goose calling. Wes is our best goose caller.
Old Blake,
I would say.
Remember the first time he came up here when we went to the spot in the corner here?
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like,
can I get a beer?
I'll
Bud Light.
take a Busch Light, please. 2.
I think you got a Bud Light.
Did you get a Bud Light
I think
with a straw?
You might have.
Oh boy. And I think too, like touching back on that is like knowing your role, right? Like
it's a huge thing.
When you're in the blind and you're next to certain people.
I'm gonna stop you there.
Yeah.
Even the setup, knowing your role.
Yeah. Start from the very beginning.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but like, the trailer door drops.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't care if it's your first time even hunting with the group, just hands-on something.
Yes. Yeah.
And okay, this guy's doing the decoys, this guy's doing the blinds. I don't got nothing. I'll go grab brush.
Yeah.
Something. You know what I mean?
Everybody's pretty solid
Yeah,
on our
yeah.
end. He's our brush man. Blake's
Yeah.
our workhorse. Blake's our muscle. He drags and gets
The old red
decoys
machine,
ready, and he helps me set up. You know, I set the spread. He brushes.
Yep.
And then we'll regroup when we're done and be like, all right, guys, what
can we touch on?
what can we adjust here? Because I don't care who you are. Every time you go to set that decoy spread up when it's dark out, you set back and look back like,
That
man,
decoy's way too close.
what the
right
hell
now.
is
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
And you'll have Wes be like, well, let's do this. I'm like, yep, let's try it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Blake, yep, let's try that.
Yeah.
And then that's how we work so great together, and we're so successful.
And that's
Yeah.
a huge thing in itself too. Is try something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like let's try like the last day of season. You know, we were getting our butt kicked all late season. I got invited with the Dirty 30 guys, Justin and Ryan and Robbie, another group that is hunting around our area. And I hunted with those guys, and that was one of the best hunts. I had two good late season hunts. One was with them, and then one was the day that Alyx came out with us. And it's just like, you know, run big decoy spread this day, and let's try something small. And that's exactly what we did the last day of season. We sat in the backyard on a grass field. Had no birds were even there. Birds were just flying over. We ran 24 decoys and just made it as realistic as possible. We just tried something. You know what I mean? Who runs snow covers on the backside and regular A-frame covers on the front side? We're just trying something. We wrapped both dog blinds and snow covers. Just try something. You know what I mean? And it worked out pretty good for us.
That tree wasn't there, Kyle. Oh my God.
Yeah, we had a tree right behind the garage that we were sitting on, so the birds would split us on the corner. So if they weren't really, they were coming right at us, and they would split us. So if that tree wasn't there, yeah, it'd be pass shooting. Not a lot of in our face action like we had. We would have probably honestly limited out that day. But I don't know. I don't know.
You get to a point where, like, I'm kind of going back, but you don't even have to say anything. It's like a symbiotic relationship.
It's so
you
nice
just,
to have that.
You just, him and I especially, and then I think Hunter too, and a lot of the guys.
Yeah,
Blake.
Blake's really good.
Yeah,
too.
it just you know where they're thinking. So
All of us are
I'll
pretty
use
good.
an example. So I found this field, and my father-in-law really wanted to go goose hunting. And he-
Ex-father-in-law.
Well, yeah, now.
I'm just messing with you. That was bad. I'm sorry.
And he's like, he's 60.
He went there, dude.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
He's 62, and he used to waterfowl hunt a lot. He's a big-time whitetail hunter. And we get to this field, and we had the trailer dropped it down, and, like, he's not on purpose, but he's just standing there, like, and I literally just took off. I didn't even tell anything to Dustin. I just left. And I went straight down, and there's, like, brush, and I'm hacking away. And then, like, I come back, and Dustin's like, yeah, he was asking where you were. And Dustin told him, like, that's just what we do. And it's just boom, 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 boom. You just figure it out.
It's obviously hard for a new guy to come into a group and just jump in because, one, maybe they don't know anybody or whatever it may be. But, like, just follow suit with everybody. Like, if you don't know what to do, take decoys out of the bags and put them on stands. Something. Don't just stand there. You know what I mean? Just do something. I don't care if you're putting the chairs in the A-frames or the chairs in the blinds or whatever it may be. Like, we're lucky enough where we have 2 permanent blinds out there. And I don't care if you're just hauling people's stuff in the blinds. Whatever it may be, just do something besides sit there with your hands in your pockets. I can go on and on about all of that stuff.
Yeah.
A thing I wanted to touch on, too, before we wrap it up. You guys did very, very well last year on turkeys, and it is right around the corner for us. I am, like, pumped beyond belief with all of that stuff. You heard turkeys gobbling already.
Oh, yeah.
I've been waiting for my first turkey to gobble. I cannot wait for opening day.
Yeah, I'm ready. I think we could. I watched 13 die last year, I think.
Yeah, you guys were
13
on them.
And then the year before, I think it was 12. We averaged about 12, 13. I'm not doing that this year due to so much work.
See, for me, it's almost like going back to where
We're wiping the population out where we're at.
You got to be very smart on how you do it.
You know, we're wiping them out, and everybody's getting pissed off because they can't kill the birds. But
I mean, it goes back to where, like, what you said, though. Like, this is the way I look at turkey hunting. Last year, I was, like, the last one to kill my bird. But I'm very smart on where I'm taking people. I'm taking a bird here. I'm taking a bird on this property. I'm taking a bird on that property.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. That's exactly what I'm doing, too. For
But half the time, I just, like, sitting in the blind. Like, half the time during goose hunts, I don't even take my gun out of the case. And I think Alyx even heard that from some of the guys on that hunt that he went on. You know, I just like being there, especially with them turkeys gobbling in the morning.
Yeah.
I don't care if we pull the trigger or not. Just hearing that is just crazy.
I didn't shoot mine until Sunday after Hunter shot his.
Oh, yeah.
My wife shot hers Saturday. And then Hunter, we went and he shot his. And then I shot mine right after his. And then Blake shot his, I think, Tuesday. I took it Monday off. Was the only day I took off, I think.
Yeah, I'm super.
You shot your own bird last year.
I killed my first solo.
He did his first solos.
Yep.
Solo. My last two birds were solos. I think this bird right here was a solo. It's hanging up on the podcast room.
Yeah.
Solo birds are just a different bird. You actually get, like, obviously you're with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You're high-fiving afterwards or whatever, but solo hunts, like, you almost just sit back after you shoot, and you're like, holy crap, like, I just did that.
Yep.
I think it was that. I want to say it was this. No, it was not this bird. I'm sorry. Bird at the house. I sat back there. Last two birds, actually. I just sat back there and, like, took it all in.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, there was 4 times it came in. 3 of them stayed around and was, like, beating the crap out of the bird I shot. And I was just like, what? Like, this is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely insane. 2 years ago, this bird that we were chasing all year round, and I finally had him come across the field and shot him. But it's just one of those unmatchable moments in the turkey woods.
Yeah, I think I only shot my Indiana bird was all by myself. The rest of them I called in for everybody else.
It's crazy though. Like,
isn't it weird? You know, you're like
nuts,
grinding
man.
for everybody else. You're like watching everybody smash these birds, and I don't know. I enjoy it more. I've killed so many turkeys that I could care less to shoot another one. I'd rather watch somebody else. You want to come shoot a turkey?
Yeah.
Come to Ohio. Buy your license. I'll get you one. He's got to wait for my wife.
Yeah, I got into it, so I'll take you up on that offer.
Yeah,
Come on,
Alyx, just
come on with it. I just got my wife's first. I just got to knock her out, and then we're Gucci.
Yeah. No, I definitely will talk to you about that.
I got plenty. I already wrapped up all my permissions about 2 weeks ago, so we're good.
The problem with goose hunting, turkey hunting, duck hunting, whatever it may be, it's so hard to find the people that are actually like appreciative over what goes into turkey hunting or whatever kind of hunting you're going into. Like, I took a buddy out, shot his bird opening morning within 20 minutes of daylight.
Mm-hmm.
I had to beg for him just to go sit out there with me. And it's like, dude, I want you to want to go. Like, you should be texting me to go out with, like, just to sit there. And that's the hard part. That's the hard part.
I love turkey hunting.
But Alyx, you got any other questions though?
No, I'm good. It was great to meet you guys, over the phone, but it was great talking with you guys.
Yeah, man, it's nice meeting you. You got my number
Good
now.
luck
If you
with
have
everything, I do. I'm going to save it for sure. I'm definitely going to text you with some questions.
Yeah, if you
stuff.
got anything, just call me or text me. I'll get back to you with anything. You know what I mean? With the dog.
Yeah.
Like I said, try that bucket drill and let me know how it works. Do it and let me know. See.
But yeah, I will for sure. I'm going to take her probably tomorrow. We're not doing shit, and we're going to try it out.
Yeah, start it close so she gets used to that bucket, maybe 50 yards or so, maybe 80, something. So she's used to that bucket, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Make sure we're setting her up for success.
Yep.
Well, I want to thank everybody. I want to thank you guys for coming up here on kind of a short notice. I mean, we just kind of planned this out.
Yep.
And it's always a pleasure having Dustin up here, minus Hunter this time, but Wes took his spot. You guys kind of have the same hair almost, you and Hunter.
Not even close.
No? I thought Hunter
I'm
was
bald
redhead.
as fuck, man.
Well, the color of your beard, though.
Oh yeah, my beard's red. He don't even have a beard. He's got a mustache. And
Didn't
that
he have a
mustache
beard,
is
though?
Sick.
The porn stash.
Oh, yeah.
Hunter can't grow a beard. I don't.
No, he can't.
Okay, you guys have the same
He's got a
color
nice
porn stash. I'm
stash
sorry.
up, yeah.
It was tomato, all right? But before we get out of here, I just want to thank the sponsors of us is GK Calls. You guys heard of them. A lot of people have heard of them. Can't say enough about those guys over there. Gator Decoys, which is kind of just south of you guys. Wes,
What's the name of it?
Gator Decoys.
I'm sorry. I just
So Gator Decoys, they're coming out with decoys coming soon.
okay.
But they have poles instead of like your Mojo sticks that always clip in together.
Okay.
They have poles that you just twist, and it's all one piece. It goes. I can't.
Yeah.
Don't.
I feel like I've seen them then. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't mention. I can't say the height or because
Sure.
there's two different poles, but you literally just spin the knob. You go as high as you want, depending on water height or whatever it may be. There's no more clipping in, and you have. I got like 8 T's at my house and 2 points. It's like, how does that even happen?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all just one piece, throw it in the boat, and you're good to go. And they got
Nice.
different attachments for the fields. Like, say you got a frozen field, you use your attachment bit for the field, you drill it in, you're good to go.
Nice.
And then, obviously, Migra ammunition. Did you start on Migra this year?
I did.
You did.
He did.
I did. They have an abundance of it at Sportsman's Warehouse in Fort Wayne, Indiana. There's so many boxes of it.
I'm telling you, Migra has been an absolute game changer for us, especially with their turkey loads, which I am so eager to try this year because I've never tried TSS shots. So eager to see what that does to a turkey.
TSS is awesome, dude.
I like those turkeys enclosed, so I'm kind of worried about how close I'm going to be
smacks
able to
them,
get
dude.
them. Oh,
No,
yeah,
shit.
but
Now you're good.
we'll see.
And is that going to be available to
It's available
buy?
now.
It is available
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
That's awesome.
It's all on their website. They dropped it during the NWTF.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a box right there, actually.
Oh.
What is it? What does it say? 545 pellets in that?
Holy
7 and 9 shot TSS.
Yeah.
Like I said, I can't say enough about all of our sponsors. I mean, the original stack loads for Migra, our whole group uses those. And obviously, like I said, GK and Gator Decoys. Can't thank those guys enough. But like I said, thank you guys for coming out and
Thank
spending
you.
the time.
Appreciate it, man.
I know you guys kind of got to drive back, but
That's all right.
I ain't worried about it.
it's always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So, Alex, thank you as well for spending the time.
Of course, man. It was awesome.
I don't know. Every time you come in and talk about dogs, I gain a little bit more knowledge.
Yeah. Yep.
So, but thanks for everybody tuning in. Until next time.